What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we are going to be going over what is actually the first ever tier list on the channel. I know guys, a lot of you that are used to my content that know me know that I always say I hate tier lists, but finally a topic came up where a tier list actually works, and it's something I want to do, and that is going to be who should be your first E5 hero. Because a lot of tier lists out there, they highlight PvP or PvE, and while those are great heroes for people that are in the late game, a lot of times they are not the best heroes to go for when you first start out Idle Heroes. And in Idle Heroes, it is the most important thing in the world to get your first E5 hero built up and have no other heroes. A lot of games you want to build a whole team up together gradually at the same power level. Well, Idle Heroes is the opposite. You are going to invest every single piece of food and fodder into one hero, because yes, it takes 3 10-star food, 3 9-star food, and building this hero to 9-star to make you all the way up to an E5 hero, because E5 heroes unlock the Void, E5 heroes let you progress in Aspen Dungeon, E5 heroes let you progress in Sealand, and Sealand is by far the most important part of the game to generate your 4-star fodder shards that you will get every month, every day. That is how you build more and more heroes, and getting Sealand 20 is the best thing to do as a new player. So get a game plan together and focus on these heroes that we have here. Yes, you'll see Russell and Aspen down the bottom. Those are going to be for something different. What today's tier list is mainly focusing on is free to play and low spenders. So I know a lot of you might be saying, hey Barry, why aren't heroes like Vesa or Ithaqua or something like that on the list? If you want to build those heroes, go for it, but I do not recommend it. If you do not see your hero on the list, and these guys right here, you probably should not focus on that hero just yet. Not saying don't build that hero. Don't build them just yet, because these heroes are going to be the ones that can get you the furthest in Sealand, and they will also have some benefits in other parts of the game. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with the Abyss faction. There's 2 heroes you can pick from. Number 1 though, Ithaqua. Ithaqua used to be a really great one to build as your first E5. He still is pretty decent, but out of every single hero in this list, he will fall off the fastest, and you will not be using him once you get to the late game, and especially won't be using him when you get to end game content. Overall, nowadays, I think I would drop him into the C tier. He can get you to about Sealand 16, 17 with just some fodder hero support. If you want to get past that, you will never get to Sealand 20 with a E5 Ithaqua, unless you're building a scary army as well, which I highly recommend you don't nowadays. He does do pretty good in PvP early game. His PvE damage is bottom of the barrel out of all of these heroes. He is not a PvE hero whatsoever, but he will get you to Aspen Dungeon Death 1 by himself at E5. He will get you pretty good results in PvP. Besides that though, not really a hero you want to shoot for. He does not synergize very well with other heroes that have burns and bleeds, because his active will remove all of them and do less damage than if that burn or bleed got to tick out over all the remaining rounds. So I used to rank him higher. I'm tempted to put him down in the D tier. We might move him later, but we'll hold him there for now. The next up though is Delacium. Now Delacium is another one in the Abyss faction. They kind of want to put him in the B tier. I would say he's borderline A, B tier. The main reason is it depends on what you're doing with your account. If your goal is to build a Delacium army with an Ithaqua to do the most PvE damage, like the god composition for PvE damage, then I'd probably bump him up to an A tier. But if you're not, and you're just looking to build the normal heroes just about everybody is, you could probably bump him down to a B tier. So a solo Delacium, even at like a 10-star, you do need some 10-star support heroes with him, but he can get Sealand 20 done. You will, of course, Like every other one of these, you will need a maxed out pet and you will need your guild tech, but he can get you pretty far. He is part of the best PvE team in the world. But when it comes to idle heroes, it's complete overkill. Building a Delacium army with an Ithaqua, a Heart Watcher, a Drake, that type of team is going to be something that is complete overkill and not necessary. But if you love building those huge damage numbers, and I'm talking like most average heroes will do a couple billion damage in PvE, a Delacium army fully kitted out can do 300 and 400 billion damage. So they can go completely crazy. If that's what you're looking for, I would bump Delacium up to an A tier. But if you are not planning to build a Delacium army, I would put him down to B. He's not great in PvP. By himself, without a great burn or bleed hero, he is not that good in PvE. He could probably manage to get you to Death 1 in Aspen Dungeon, but that's a big if. His big strength is that he can get you to Sealand 20. So that's kind of how you have to decide as far as Delacium. I'm going to leave in the B tier. I know a lot of people might flame me and say, hey, Barry, he should be an A tier at least. But I compared to some of these other heroes, you know what? I almost want to bump both of these guys down a little bit to something more like this and say he's either an A or a C tier. So Delacium can be an A tier or a C tier, depending on what the rest of your heroes are going to be for your team. Next up, though, we have Garuda. Garuda, the reason why I'd bump Delacium and Ithaqua down is because Garuda needs a spot in the B tier. She can be very strong in both PvE damage and PvP damage. She can be one of the best PvP heroes out there. But her big struggle is her Sealand progress. So a solo Garuda can probably get to about somewhere in Sealand 14 to 17 range. Again, you're gonna need some 9 and 10 star support heroes to go with her, though. If you do build a Garuda first, my biggest suggestion is the second E5 you should build is a second Garuda, because 2 E5 Garudas can get you there. It is possible. It's something you can do. You can build other E5s like a Rogan to support her if you don't want to build a second Garuda, and it can be done with 1 E5 Garuda. But out of every faction now, Forest Sealand does take the most E5 heroes and support heroes to actually get the job done and finish Sealand 20 out. So that's kind of why I say she can be great, because she is one hero that will last you to the extreme end game when it comes to PvE and PvP. So if you want to have a weaker early game in most areas of the game, because she does not do well in Aspen Dungeon either, she can probably get you to Death 1 with some extreme luck, but she is more or less a Hell 50 checkpoint type hero. But again, she does have that longevity that a lot of these other heroes don't have. Actually, she is one of only 2 that will probably last you to the end game that you'll keep for the entirety of your account. The rest of these you'll probably replace eventually, but I do say she would be a good B tier hero. So next up, we do have our man Horus. Horus goes straight up to the A tier. He is absolutely amazing. He is great in PvE damage. He can do Sealand 18 to 19 solo with just some 3-star support heroes. To get him to 20 though, you will need to get a lot of 5-star ticks. One of the newest mages, I believe, right? Mage in the Shadow faction. You can do it with a Horus. You can do it with 5 baby ticks, basically just to lower that attack and do some AoE damage. So yeah, he can be done. Horus does struggle when it does come to PvP though. No matter what part of the game, he's not that great in comparison to other heroes. Some people might say Horus does great damage in PvP. It all depends on who you're facing and what the teams are. But overall, early game, he can do okay. Mid game, he falls off. Late game and end game, he is non-existent when it comes to PvP. So you have to remember that. He is an amazing tank hero for things like Flame Shrine or guild bosses for PvE. He will definitely get you in some of the top lists for your guild bosses as you're leveling up. So he does do good PvE damage. Sealand is his bread and butter. That's where he shines. But when it comes to When it comes to PvP, he lacks. When it comes to Aspen Dungeon, he lacks as well. He is another one of those heroes like Garuda that says he is a Hell 50, there we go, Hell 50 checkpoint. Could you get to Death 1 with him? Again, with some extreme RNG, yes, you probably can. He is one of the better and easier ones to gear out because he doesn't require any pay-to-win artifacts, where all the other ones so far do require pay-to-win artifacts. That is part of the reason why he is so good, but you do have to know he is someone you are eventually going to replace on your team. We're going to skip over Inosuke, the newest hero, for a second and go to Penny, because Penny falls right in the same tier as Horus. Penny can do absolutely amazing things. Early game PvP, she is amazing. Her burst is crazy. Her PvE damage is decent, to say the least. It's not bad. It's not great. It's kind of like right there, middle of the road. She can get you your broken spaces done. She can get you your PvE damage you need. Aspen Dungeon, she is actually very, very good in. So in Aspen Dungeon, she will definitely get you to Death 1. And you can potentially use your Penny all the way up to Death 50 checkpoints. So she does require a pay-to-win artifact for PvE and PvP, being the Punisher Staff of Immortal. But when it comes to Sealand, she doesn't really need all that much. She actually just needs an anti-warrior artifact, which is one of the easiest artifacts to get in the game. Doesn't matter what faction it's for or a regular one, an anti-warrior artifact will be perfect for Penny. So, where does she struggle? Well, not too many places. Her struggle is making sure she crits, because when Penny doesn't crit, she doesn't do damage. She has cool effects like reflect armor that makes her not able to be CC'd. She does excel in Sealand as well. She is one of the, like I said, one of the few heroes in the game that can get you to Sealand 20 just by herself as the only E5. However, she does require a ton of support heroes. She requires about 3 10-star heroes, being Emily's, to support her, plus a couple of Valentinos for some stun RNG. But besides that, she's a very solid hero. She is someone you will keep around to the end game, although at end game, once again, she will fall off. So far, the only hero that you will keep on your team would be Garuda out of all of these heroes. So that does say something. Next up, though, we do have Inosuke, the brand new Fortress hero, the new god of Sealand, which makes him the new god of early games. So, yes, right now it's going to be hard to get copies of him because he's brand new. He just came out, but he is by far the best hero now for Sealand. Why? Because his copies eventually will not be that hard to get. You'll be able to get them pretty easily. Not too bad. You'll be able to get them in regular 5-star chests a couple months down the road. You'll have a Prophet Orb event with him in it a couple months down the road. What can he do? Well, go check out a video from about 2 days ago here on this channel. You will see him clearing Sealand 20 as the only E5 with 5 3-star Fire Fist support heroes. So, yes, they are all level 2, and he is an E5 at level 345. So, man, he can do so much. Yes, you need to invest, just like a lot of these heroes, into your guild tech, your secondary guild tech, for things like anti-warrior and anti-mage damage. But yeah, overall, his shields make it so that he is so strong. He has great AoE damage. He hits 3 different targets with both his active and his basic. And it just really excites me. I will probably be building him on a new account a couple months down the road here as my first E5 hero. So, where does he excel? Of course, number 1, he's the god in Sealand. Number 2, Aspen Dungeon, he can definitely get you to Death 1. We haven't had enough experience with him just yet, but his skill set is one that will definitely get you there, even without a pay-to-win artifact. If you throw something like an Echo of Death on him, I'm sure you'll be fine. If you guys don't know, Echo of Death is the attack and crit artifact. It should be all you need for him. If you do get a pay-to-win artifact like a Kiss of Ghost, Augustus Magic Ball, Punisher Staff, any of those, they should all work on him. He does seem like a very flexible hero to get to Death 1 in Aspen Dungeon with any artifact you really have. So that's really, really good. When it comes to PvP early game, I think he's going to do extremely well. Is he going to be Garuda tier? Maybe not. Is he going to last you the end game? yeah, he'll definitely last you. Right now, we have such a strong PvP meta where there's such strong heroes that he kind of gets eclipsed. But all the way up to endgame, he is going to be useful on your team. And even at endgame, you could find a spot for him. So he is going to work out. Plus, one big thing is he will get the Void Imprints coming out soon as well. So that is a nice little bonus to get him as your first hero. He will do great for you. His PvE damage is probably S tier as well. If you have just a normal unoptimized PvE setup, he will still get you in the 5 to 10 billion damage range, which is really, really good for any of these heroes on this list. And then if you have him optimized, you can get him upwards of 30 billion. So he is a huge hitter in PvE, pretty good hero in PvP. He will do well in Aspen, and he is the god of Sealand for you. So by far, if you can manage to get enough copies to build him in the months to come, I would highly recommend it for any new player starting now or in the next couple of months. So kind of to wrap this up, we do have two other heroes down here. You do see Russell, you do see Aspen. I wanted to make sure we had at least one hero from every faction, but I'm not going to talk about them in this tier list because this tier list is aimed to those that are the free to play, the low spenders, the mid spenders, the ones that aren't really investing money into the game to get hero copies too fast, especially when it comes to building light and dark heroes, because building light and dark heroes is extremely difficult for new players. So those will come in on the next tier list, because the next tier list we're going to talk about is going to be the whale pay to win tier list. And honestly, Russell is probably going to be somewhere in this range most likely, because he can do it with a very minimal setup as well. So it is what it is. I probably, for the time being, since this is free to play, I would probably put them down. No. You know what? They're not going on the final list. Nope. Oh, I can't take them back off. Okay. Well, they're staying down here, down the bottom of the list. So let me know what you guys think. These are my opinions, of course. It's not set in stone. This is, if I was to build a new account, these would be the heroes I would go for, and this is the priority of what I would make them. Again, Inosuke is by far probably the best. I would definitely go for him. And just a final note, just to reiterate, I know this is going to be part of the thumbnail, but these two heroes down here, Aspen and Russell, don't build them yet as free to play. Are they good ones to go for as your first light and dark hero? Yes. First E5 for what we're talking about here? Absolutely not. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hopefully it helped you make some decisions and helped some of you guys that are newer to the game decide who you want to build as your first E5, because it is so important. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a lot more content coming out here. Advice for newer players. We might even be starting a free-to-play series ourselves in the next couple months. So stick around. Make sure you check it out. And I'll see you guys next time.
How can